What have I learned about love? Well, for starters, it's a messy drug, and there's all kinds of forms of it. Friends, family, pets. But the one we most commonly find ourselves addicted to is romance. And why is that? Could it simply be our nature, or perhaps nurture, or both? Does our unconditional connection to other human beings wish that we simultaneously share this experience of life together? Or are we just doing what mommy and daddy did? What our uncles and aunts taught us? Are we replicating what they had or chasing a dream that we lack? Were they the perfect example of an idea or just the blueprint on heartache? Are we fantasizing about fulfilling a fairy tale or merely trying to fill a void that was never quite occupied by an absent mother or neglectful father? Or maybe it has nothing to do with them at all. Maybe it's the thrill of it, the ups and downs of emotions, the opening of hearts and slamming of doors, the melding of minds, the roller coaster of adventure. And don't even get me started. Oh, well, you know, that spot behind his ear, that tickle on her neck, the taste of his lips, the warmth of her breath, skin to skin, soul to soul, passionate, naked, completely whole. Oh, how electrifying to see such sparks flying, to feel two worlds colliding as the universe makes space. For a moment so timeless, a life so vibrant, a love so pure, it's almost impossible to distinguish reality. Do you realize it's the source of reality? Our existence, the reason you and I are here, why we pick up a glass and cheer, why we clap and dance and forget our fears and just be. Man, who am I to tell you what it is? Nothing more than a single perspective. So, I dare you. Go out and try it for yourself. Find as much of it as you can and soak it up however you need to. With a partner, a companion, or on your own, but please, most of all, go out and embrace it, fight with it, lose it, then find it again, because through all that joy, abundance, and turmoil, I'm still asking myself, what have I learned about love? Thank you very much. This is unbelievable. I wanted to say thank you to my dad, my siblings, and my friends for being here, as well as my girlfriend who couldn't be here because she's doing amazing things of herself. And thank you, TEDx, for having us. I never thought I'd be on the music hall stage, so this is just unbelievable for me. So while I like to start on a lighter note, like artists, I believe we use art as a therapy for some of the darker times, at least for me. So I went through depression and anxiety at one point, and this is one of the pieces that came out of it called Overloaded. I tried to be tied down, but couldn't quite figure out what I really wanted out of life, so I shut down. Abandoned everybody who trusted me and tried to love me, because I couldn't bear the thought of them knowing that I was struggling, mentally, financially, and everything else in between, as pride got the best of me, tempted me, and then tested me by asking my ego what kind of evil makes her less from me, then using that knowledge with full intention to make a mess of me. Embarrassing, to say the least, having to cope with everything, on your own inside your dome, feeling like you're so alone, but never want to rock the boat, so you do your best to hold it all together till one day you explode. From emotion overload and airing out your whole soul, bearing down to the bone where you're finally exposed to be the human that you've been pursuing all along, as you hid behind a monster just so he could write some songs, turning rights into wrongs and replacing your thoughts with a little idea that you don't belong. Like, what's the point of living when you've already given up on everybody in your life that you ever claimed to love? Well, I'll tell you what the point is. No more avoidance. Time to stand up and speak out for the voiceless. For those who feel poison, for those who feel joyless, for those who feel like they're trapped and have no other choices but to work and fade away, fake a smile and behave, while the money that you make goes to someone else's bank so they can live happy lives off your efforts and your time till you're no longer needed. Then they simply cut your ties. Like a puppet, they say fudge it, use you, and then kick your bucket as they throw you out with the bathwater like you're nothing but the bottom of a barrel. So you go and grab a barrel, making sure to grip it tight as the muzzle meets your temple. Because they got you going mental, thinking that you're worthless, hoping that the metal's gonna solve all your burdens, when all it's gonna do is leave your loved ones hurting. So I'm here to beg you to stay determined, to live a better life, to ignore all the lies, to put down the bottle, step away from the knife, to look deep inside and try to realize that each and every single one of us deserves to survive. Thank you very much for going on that journey with me. That one was called Overloaded. The first one was called What Have I Learned About Love? And my final piece is called She Keeps Me Company. They're all part of a larger collection called Growth. So I need a little bit of crowd participation on this last one. When I say she, I need you all to say keeps me company. She keeps me company. She keeps me company. Awesome. We're going to do that for the first 4 lines and the very last line of the poem. In a world fairly foreign to me, but familiar to so many of its local inhabitants, she keeps me company. In a world which desires to easily discard me like one of its furry little 4-legged subway ferrets, she keeps me company. In a world where we are both striving to be the best versions of ourselves despite all the trauma we have managed to endure over our individual lifetimes, she keeps me company. Even in a world where the men before me possess many of the same characteristics as my former selves, she still keeps me company. So it is without a doubt that she chooses to spare her time, share her space, and befriend a stranger just so I no longer feel insignificant in this world. Thus, one can't help but ponder, what more do I do with such kindness? Do I proceed to embrace it and embark on establishing an electrifying connection? Do I lean into the powers of procreation and pursue her as passionately as I do my own poetry? Or do I merely admire her from afar in a futile attempt to protect our hearts from the soul-wrenching agony of shattering once again? To which my conscience simply replies, all I do not know. However, what I do know is this. I am thankful. I am thankful for her light, her love, and the illustrious energy she emits anytime she enters the room. I am thankful for her compassion, her candor, and the quality of life she is so carefully crafting for herself at this very moment. I am thankful for the peace she brings me, the pride she possesses, and the presence in which we find ourselves just moments prior to parting ways. But with all these over-elaborate adjectives and conditional statements aside, let me remind you that I am just thankful. So as the rest of these words on this page near their end, much like the few nights we've shared together, it is with a gentle caress of her hand across my beard that she keeps my cheek warm. That is to say, she keeps me company. Thank you very much.